Okay, so now we go to EC2, otherwise light sail. Mostly we will get server class operating systems. So server class OS we are going to get. Even if you create a RDS also backend, an instance is getting created, it should be definitely server class. Okay, so which is a server class. Okay, so then if you go for normally like I want a VDI virtual desktop infrastructure. What is the concept of VDI in the IT is virtual desktop infrastructure. What is the advantage of this is we are going to deliver the desktops to the any device anywhere and any connection we are going to get the desktops. So what is the advantage of VDI is say you have a TV or thin client, zero client, whatever it may be the desktops you want, those desktops can be delivered to any user. So for that we are going to use VDI. So who is the leader in the VDI is Citrix, Zena, and Zen Desktop is the leader in this. Otherwise, we have Azure WVD. So what is the concept of Azure WVD is Azure like Windows virtual desktops. So we are going to give the Windows virtual desktops also to the users. But AWS solution for this is Workspace. Say AWS Workspace. Okay, say is the solution we have. Okay, so what is the difference between EC2 and AWS Workspace? What is the difference between EC2 and Workspace? Here also we are getting the Windows itself or Linux, but those are not server class. So can you tell some Windows desktop class? Like desktop class is Windows 7, Windows 10, Windows 11. Okay, so these kind of things are called as desktop class operating systems. And it's not only delivering the desktop, you no need of a computer again. You no need of maybe a laptop or you no need of a desktop. To any device also. What's the meaning of device here? This may be a tab we have. Otherwise, we have a smart TV, smart Android kind of device. Otherwise, we have zero clients, thin clients. Say again, no need of processing kind of things. So to those also we can deliver the desktops using Workspace. Okay. So and in order to use the Workspace, we require a directory. So directory is nothing but normally we'll have LDAP. LDAP stands for Lightweight Directory Access Protocol. So normally we'll make one Windows server as an Active Directory. Say Active Directory contains the central information of all the company details are going to be stored. Say assume if you join in a company, we have Wipro.com, Cognizant, CTS.com or Cognizant.com, whatever it may be the domain name. And all the users, like if you have 1 lakh employees in the company, I have 50,000 desktops, 10,000 servers we have or printers, scanners, everything is getting stored in Active Directory. So we are going to store them in the Active Directory. We are going to store. So even if you want to use the Workspace also, one of the prerequisite is we require AWS Directory Service. Normally, we'll take a Windows server. On top of that, we are going to spin up the Active Directory. But here, you don't need to go for a Windows server and need to install or configure the Active Directory. By default, we are going to get the directory service for us. By default, we are going to get that directory service. We are going to get it. Okay, so now we'll go for workspace here. So if you go for the workspaces, see here Amazon secure, reliable, and scalable access to the persistent desktops. Persistence means sometimes some non-persistent desktops, if you shut down, your data is going to lose. So, but here workspaces can provide even the persistency also. That means your data also is persistent even if you connect to the same desktop after like 2 days or 4 days also. Our data is persistent. This kind of persistent kind of solutions will be given by AWS. So here we can set up the workspace. Say go for either quick setup or advanced setup. So, but in order to set up this, one of the prerequisites is we need to set up a directory. This setup of directory, even we can do it from AWS Directory Service also. So here we have AWS Directory Service, who can manage our Active Directory kind of setup. So now here we need to set up either Microsoft Managed or simple AD connector, but we are going to use AWS Managed AD. Either from here you can do. That means we no need to take a locally on-premises Windows server. On top of that, we don't need to set up. Okay. Otherwise, from here also, I'm going to set up a directory. Now here AWS managed AD I'm using. Even simple AD also we can use. That is like uh, AWS provides one simple AD. Otherwise, we can have a AD connector also. But mostly real time we'll use Microsoft Managed. This is AWS itself will provide a Linux based open LDAP kind of connectivity like this. Otherwise, AD connector. Okay, so whatever we are getting is going to cache and connects to your local on-premises kind of AD. So here you can choose these all the AD editions we have. As of now, choose. But you delete this AD once this setup is done, and your organization name you can give. So cloud source are like given FQDN, cloudsource.com. .com are those we can give the BIOS name. Admin password. I'm going to set the admin password. It takes 5 to 10 minutes in order to set up. So I'm going to choose the default VPC. Minimum updates you choose. Create a directory. It charge more money. Once your work is done, you delete. It takes more time, 10 to 15 minutes. Else again, we'll create it. We'll wait for some time. Then, if you want to do it from normally, if you have a Windows server, how to create one Active Directory? Normally, in the EC2 instances, we shouldn't do this. I'll show the steps for you. I'll create one Windows server here. Windows 2016, 19, 22, anything what you want, you can choose here. Choose it, keep it. I have already this keep here. .dp 30 GB I have created. Let's go to connect option. But it takes more time to generate that key. Get the password. Still it's not created it. This one normally the AWS EC2 instances we shouldn't do. If you have a local Windows machine, how to install AD, I'm explaining you. That step itself here it is doing automatically. It's creating one directory here. Still that is creating. Because it's backend, it need to create an instance on top of what are the steps here we are doing manually, that is doing automatically. Here we got the password. Once we get this Windows machine, we need to go to server manager. We already I have configured the IAS. Yeah. So this is the Windows. Go to Start menu, Server Manager. One of the prerequisites for Active Directory is we need to configure the static IP. But as of now, here I didn't configure. In the real time, we need to configure the static IP. That means it shouldn't change that IP. Here, normally we already installed a web server IAS, right? So now here for this, if you want to install Active Directory means Active Directory Domain Services is the job, like a Windows role we need to add. What is the role name? Active Directory Domain Services. The Active Directory Domain Services we need to choose. Then install. This role is getting installed. Once the role has been installed, we need to promote this as domain controller. Previously, we have one command is there. In order to promote this one, once you install Active Directory Domain Services, we need to use one command called as dcpromo.exe. In the older versions, we have dcpromo.exe. DC stands for domain controller. Promo stands for promotion. DC promo. In the newer method, you don't need to use that command DC promo. Here itself will get one option to promote it into domain controller. So this is Active Directory mission, but we are making this Windows. So Windows Server can do more roles. It can do IAS role. It can do like a web server role, print server, file server, DNS, DHCP, RDS server, hypervisor. Like a Windows Server can do multiple roles. Which role you have configured, that role it's going to perform. That's now that configuration is required to promote. Okay. Well, see here we have this option, right? What is this? Promote this server to domain controller. Previously, we used to do the same step by running one command in the run called as the DC promo. Okay, so now here we can use add a new domain controller to the existing domain or add a new domain to an existing forest, add a new forest. So now we don't have any forest as of now. See here it's a domain tree. Group of trees is called as forest. As of now, my root domain I'll give cloudsoftware.com. If it is Wipro, They'll give wipro.com. Okay, so like this, we are going to get that. Once you given this, next. These most of the options you have configured even in GUI in the AWS also. And this will become a global catalog also. The first domain controller will become a global catalog. And optionally, it's becoming a DNS server. And we need to set the password also. What is that global catalog server we'll discuss. It will throw some warning because it's not a production server and the static IP is not there. It may fail. Just to show you, I'm giving that. Normally, we need to add the static IP. These then only it will be successful. Reverse lookup, DNS, all those will work if that prerequisite met. So now here the database is NTDS. Say in the C drive Windows, NTDS is going to store. What is the meaning of NTDS? Normally we have heard about NTFS. The file system we have Windows is previously MS-DOS having FAT16 and later we moved to FAT32. Now we are using NTFS. In the same way, directory system is NTDS, new technology directory service dot DIT. So that is the database name. DIT stands for directory information tree. So Microsoft has developed that kind of database. So what is the database for Active Directory is ntds.dit. DIT stands for Directory Information Tree. Directory Information Tree. Then here we need to click on install option. Then that's going to promote as the domain controller. The next sessions, all those we need to add as this instance. Just to understand you what's happening in the backend, I've shown that. Normally now this directory itself is automatically created. Still it is creating for us. We need to wait for this. After this, we need to create the workspace. So create a workspace. It asks you the directory. Then create the users. Normally in the Active Directory itself, we'll have the users. To those users, we are going to assign the desktops. Then in one more solution is there called as app streaming. App stream. This is the desktops. Instead of desktops, directly we can give the applications also. So we have the different type of applications are there. So what are the just like Google Sheets like this? Some of the applications you no need to install them. From here itself is going to run. So just like in the browser, how Google Sheet works, app streaming, we don't need to install the applications. These applications are running in the AWS data centers, and we are going to get those screens for us. But Citrix, Zen app, and Zen desktop is the leader in those. Whatever the URL you want to type here, you can type. This is the app streaming. Open the website, but it's not. It should get the internet. I don't know why it is not coming. Let's come back to directory itself. But this directory need to be created for us for this. Meanwhile, if you want any, we'll have the Hadoop developer should be there. They may want the Hadoop clusters. Those we can create from EMR, Elastic Map Reduce clusters. So normally, if they want any Hadoop clusters on the for their data processing like this, we are responsible maybe to provide those EMR clusters, Elastic Map Reduce clusters also. So normally, this is the Hadoop administrator job. We are going to do it. See, here you can create the Hadoop. These clusters, what you created, would be used by Hadoop developers. Here in the Hadoop, we can have the Core Hadoop or Spark. Say different engines you can create depends upon their requirement. It is all normally different like database will have database administrators, Hadoop we have Hadoop administrators, storage we have storage, SAN or NAS kind of administrators. Then we have like AD Windows admins, Linux admins. Okay, we have the different type of administrators. Now we should able to do all these things because most of the work has been automated by the AWS itself. So hence try to provision all this. Once your work is done, just delete this. We'll be getting the requirements from the different types of these clusters, all these provision for their requirements. What happens is it is creating it. And we have on top of application load balancer, we have one more service called as WAF, Web Application Firewall. Here we can create a web application firewall also for your website. Say if someone tries to attack your websites through SQL injections or DDoS protections, okay, so we can protect our load balancers or application gateway. So this is also one of the security kind of tool we need to set up. If someone attacks our websites, we need to configure the web application firewall on top of your load balancer. But they'll charge more money for this. So just try to with the application load balancer, we are going to integrate the WAF. With the network load balancer, we can't integrate WAF. If once a directory has been created, try to provision the resources desktops. You will get an email to your Gmail. From that, we are going to provision the resources. Okay, it's taking time. Okay, so once this created, just ping me, we'll connect. Okay.
Okay, Srikanth. Okay. Yeah.